Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is another live Happy English lesson on YouTube. My name is Michael, and I'm coming to you live from New York City here at Happy English. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is March 23rd. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning, New York time, and so if you are here at 9 a.m. New York time, March 23rd, then you're watching this live English lesson. Otherwise, you're watching a recording of this, and well, that's still okay, but it's not live. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. It is almost the end of March. We had a huge snowstorm yesterday in New York. When I woke up in the morning yesterday, there were about 25 to 30 centimeters of snow in front of my house, and that was not fun to dig my car out. And it's the fourth snowstorm we've had this month. Unbelievable. And Wednesday, in addition to being my sister's birthday, Wednesday was the first day of spring, and that's when the snowstorm started. So who knows? It's just weird weather. Anyway, this is live. I want to have a couple of quick hellos. Hi to who's here? Reginaldo. Hi. Thou. Hi. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate that. Don't forget, you can always visit myhappyenglish.com. You can find over 2,000 free English lessons there to help you learn English. And what else did I want to say? Yes. This is live. Hello, Lin. Hi, Dr. CJ Victor, coming here from Istanbul. How are you today? I'm doing super. It's Friday. It's almost the weekend here in New York, and maybe where you are, it's closer to the weekend. Who knows? Anyway, thanks for joining me. I have a nice English lesson for you today. I hope it's nice for you. We're going to talk about how to use the present perfect. Somebody wrote me a question after last Tuesday's live about that. We're going to talk about present perfect. We're also going to talk about non-countable nouns. This is something that a lot of people are often really confused about in English, and I want to help make you unconfused. Do me a favor. Hey, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It would be really great if you could subscribe. I would appreciate that. I'm not selling something here today. I'm just asking you to subscribe. It's free, so click the button that you see on the screen that says subscribe. All right, let's get to today's lesson. And by the way, if you do have a comment or a question and you want to drop that into the chat box, feel free. This is a live English lesson, so I'm happy to answer your questions as long as they're not too difficult. Katie is here. Hi, Katie. I'm glad you found it. Excellent. Awesome. Mariella, hi. Raha, hi. Wow, thanks everyone who's joining me today. I really appreciate that. All right. As you know, I hope you know, in English we have some nouns which are countable and some which are not countable. For example, you can count pens. 1 pen, 2 pens. You can count bottles. 1 bottle, 2 bottles. You can count mouse. 1 mouse, 2 mice. It's the same if it's the computer mouse or the animal mouse. But some words in English are not countable, like water, or air, or love. So, and I think some of those are pretty easy to understand because they're things that you can't actually count with your fingers. And so, here's a tip. If you can use your finger and numbers, it's countable, right? So I can say, as a quick example, 1, 2, 2 pens. I can use my fingers and I can use numbers, and that's how I know it's a countable noun, all right? So some nouns that are not countable, people get a little bit confused about, and that's the point for this part of today's lesson. So these words you see in red are not countable. She gave me some advice. You could say some advice, a lot of advice, so much good advice, but please don't say advices. It's not countable. Just like furniture. Furniture. There's a lot of furniture in this room. Furniture. Furniture means tables and chairs, and you can count those. 2 chairs, 1 table, 1 lamp, 1 Michael. So, I'm not furniture. And so those things are countable, right? You can say 2 sofas, 2 seats, but furniture is a collective noun. It's a group of things, and furniture is not countable. So please be careful. Sometimes people say, oh, I bought 2 furnitures last weekend, or I bought many furnitures, okay? Not countable. Sunny. Sunny. Do you know that song? Thanks, Sunny. Thanks for joining us today. All right, food. We ate a lot of food at the party. Basically, the word food is not countable as we use it in everyday English. In some medical situations, people say, oh, you should eat natural foods. It has kind of a medical connotation, okay? In everyday English, when you talk about what you eat, we don't say foods. We say food. Now, I know that here in America, in the USA, we have a grocery store chain, which the name of is Whole Foods. But that's a marketing trick, so don't let that confuse you either. You can say, I ate so much food last night, or I ate a lot of food for breakfast, or I bought food at the store. But please don't say I bought foods, okay? Information, this is another abstract word. Again, information, you can't use your finger, you can't count it with numbers. So sometimes people say, oh, I have 2 informations. Nope, I have some information, I have a lot of information. I need more information about that. Okay, so information is also not countable. Now, let's talk about language words. Vocabulary. Vocabulary means all of the words you know in one language. So, let's say that your native language is Arabic. Okay, you were born in, I don't know, in Morocco, and your native language is Arabic. So, you have your vocabulary is Arabic. It's all the words you know. Now, if you were born in Morocco and you speak Arabic and French, you know vocabulary in Arabic and vocabulary in French. So technically, you know 2 vocabularies, if you want to think about it that way, because vocabulary means all of the words you know. So I'm a native English speaker. I have an English vocabulary, 1 English vocabulary. My second language is Japanese. I have a Japanese vocabulary. I have 2 vocabularies. But to be honest, that's not a natural way to speak, okay? So sometimes people use the word vocabulary to mean words, and my students or people say, Michael, how can I learn more vocabularies? Well, if you want to learn more vocabularies, study a different language. That's how you do that. So if you think that you have this many words and you really want to know this many words, you can say to me or to your teacher, I want to increase my vocabulary. I want to increase my vocabulary. I want to improve my vocabulary. I want to learn more words, okay? But please don't say, oh, I want to have more English vocabularies, because there is only one English vocabulary. That's all the words you know. All right, next is grammar. Tran knows a lot of English grammar. Grammar is not countable. Now, there are many aspects of grammar, right? There's verb tense, there's countable, non-countable nouns, there's prepositions. So sometimes people say, oh, I learned many grammars. The word grammar is not countable. I learned a lot of grammar. I learned so much grammar. I learned too much grammar, but please don't count grammar. And then homework. If you're a student and your teacher, your math teacher gives you one sheet for homework, and your science teacher gives you one sheet, you have 2 assignments. You have some homework. If all of your teachers give you something to do at home, you have a lot of homework. You have so much homework. You have too much homework. But you can't say, I have many homeworks. Homework is not countable. You can count assignments. So I have to study this list of vocabulary words. I have to do 1 page in my math book, and I have to read my chapter in history. I have 3 assignments. I have a lot of homework. Okay? Homework is not countable. Katie says, I want to increase my vocabulary. That's why I'm here. All right. Staff is not countable. That's right. I know. I was surprised too. Staff means all of the people, pardon me. Staff means all of the people who work in a place. Okay? So if you walk into a cafe and there's 1 person behind the register and 1 person making coffee and 1 person baking pastry, there are 3 people on the staff. And if you speak to the cashier, you speak to the cashier. You can't say, I spoke to the staff. Sometimes people say, oh, Michael, I went to that coffee shop and I talked to the staff in English. And if you say, I talked to the staff in English, it means you talked to everyone who works there, which is kind of weird. You don't walk into a coffee shop and say, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. All of you people working. Hello. Right? So, staff is not countable. I know. I was surprised too. All right, next up is a similarly pronounced word, stuff. Staff, stuff, staff, stuff. Okay? Notice the vowel sound. The ah in staff, it's a long sound. Staff. But that's my stuff. Stuff. The sound is very, very short. Is that your stuff? Okay? Maybe you have a pen, a notebook, and your mobile phone on the table, pardon me. And someone says, is that your stuff? You say, yes, that's my stuff. I have a lot of stuff. But please don't say, I have a lot of stuffs. All right, so those are the common non-countable nouns. Now, there are lots and lots of non-countable nouns. But these are the ones that I see a lot of people have most of the trouble with most of the time, okay? So please study them, but this is not a complete list, all right? Okay, Lin has a question. Though they are not countable nouns, can I say a piece of advice, a piece of furniture, a piece of information? Yes. We use those words like a bottle of water, a cup of coffee, or a cup of joe. And so yes, we do use words like that to count that. Look, I have 2 pieces. My hand is covered. I have 2 pieces of advice. Study hard and visit myhappyenglish.com. So yes, you can say I have 2 pieces of advice. I have several pieces of new furniture. All right. So yes, you can use any of those counting words, but please, the point is, don't put S after the word. Don't say advices or informations or vocabularies or stuffs. Okay, that's kind of weird. All right, thanks for your questions. Thanks again, everyone who's joining me live. It's about 9:16 in the morning in New York. This is live on March 23rd. Let's move on to the next point. The other day, on Tuesday, could you give me a glass of water? Sure. Here, hang on. Don't spill water in the PC, Michael. After the class on Tuesday, somebody sent me a message and said, "Hey, present perfect. What's going on with this grammar?" And so I wanted to explain a little bit about that today. So there are 4 ways, basically 4 ways that we use the present perfect. And the present perfect is have plus the PP verb. Have or has plus the PP verb. The PP is the past participle, oh my God, verb. So eat, ate, eaten. Go, went, gone. See, saw, seen. So the eaten, gone, seen, that's the past participle. That's the PP verb. So we use have, I have, or has, you have, or he has, plus the past participle verb. So and that's called present perfect, and there are 4 situations that we use that. Julio, yes, better late than never. That's a great idiom. Thanks for sharing that with us. Look in the chat box. Julio just chimed in. He said, better late than never. That's true. So Helia, hi, thanks a lot. Is there a difference between pronunciation between come and calm? Yeah, come is an sound, like bus, come. Calm is an sound, calm. Come, calm, come, calm. Okay, hope that helps. All right, let's talk about present perfect. There are 4 basic situations, 4 times, 4 ways we use present perfect. The first one is when we don't say the exact time in the past. I have seen Star Wars. You don't know when. You just know that I had the experience to do that. I saw Star Wars. Because when you use the simple past, you have to say the time. I saw Star Wars last night. Or I went to the grocery store and I bought coffee yesterday. So the simple past needs the time, but present perfect doesn't. It just means it happened somewhere in the past. We don't know when and we don't know how many times. I have seen Star Wars. Maybe I have seen it 10 times in my life, or maybe I saw it 10 times yesterday. We don't know, we don't care. Okay, so when we don't know when we don't say the exact time, you can use present perfect. I have seen Star Wars. Number 2, when something has a connection to now, I could say, have you enjoyed this English lesson so far? Right? Have you enjoyed this English lesson? So it's connected to right now. When you go to a restaurant and when you're towards the end of eating, the waiter or the waitress might say, "Excuse me, have you finished your meal? Have you finished your meal?" So there's a connection to right now. If you see a friend and his hands are all very, very dirty and greasy, he might say, "Oh, I've just fixed my car." All right, so we use present perfect when there's a connection to now. The next example is when we talk about our experience. And again, we don't say when, we just know that it happened. I have been to Seoul twice. I have been to Seoul twice. And in fact, both of those times it was in the winter, and my God, I thought New York was cold. It's cold in Seoul in the winter. I have been there twice. I have been to Istanbul many times. Okay, you don't know when, you just know I had the experience. I have eaten fried grasshoppers. True story. So, you know my experience, but you don't know when. And the last one is when we connect a particular time in the past to now. I have lived here since I was born. I have been teaching at Happy English since 2010. I have taught English here since 2010. I have taught English since 1994. Oh my God. I have known you for 2 years. Okay? So when we talk about a period of time in the past or a point in time in the past, we can use the present perfect. And I know that the name of the present perfect as a grammar word is weird because the present perfect usually talks about things in the past. But there is some connection to now, and that's the thread here. I have seen Star Wars in my life, and my life is still continuing, and that's how that works. Who else is here? Kamala, hi, thanks for joining us. Katie, have you eaten fried grasshoppers in Istanbul? No, actually I ate, they were pan-fried grasshoppers, and I ate those in Japan one time on a dare. I was with a group of students, and one of my students said, "Do you want to try that?" And I thought, okay. It's not a very commonly eaten food in Japan. I just want to clarify that so people don't think that people in Japan like to eat insects. But after World War II, when the country was completely destroyed by my country, there wasn't a lot of protein, and so that was a protein choice. So that's that. Robson, hi from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Ivy, hi. Thanks for joining me today. Reginaldo, hi. Present perfect, weak forms. English is not easy. That's right. English is not easy, but I'll tell you this, it is not impossible. All right? That's my best advice. And that is, my friends, that's the end of today's live English lesson. Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please visit myhappyenglish.com. You can find lots of free English lessons, including my podcasts, other videos, and other lessons. Thank you so much for joining me today. The next live English lesson will be Tuesday, next week, next Tuesday. What's the date on Tuesday? The date on Tuesday is the 27th, March 27th, 12:30 p.m. That's lunchtime in New York. You can ask Google what time is 12:30 New York time in my time zone. That's about 3 hours from now, if you want to calculate that. And that's Tuesday, another live English lesson. I'll have some more YouTube not live lessons coming out this weekend, plus a podcast. And then big announcement coming, excitement for April. I will tease you and leave you with that. So that's it, my friends. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate all of your comments, and have a great weekend. See you guys next time. Bye.